Zillow is the most popular real estate website in the United States. The company has transformed the way people buy, sell, and rent homes, or at least dream about that kind of thing.
We were one of the first apps on the iPhone, and that really created the category.
Realtor.com, Zillow, some of the other aggregation sites that are out there providing an experience for consumers that wasn't there before.
Zillow, what they have an advantage on is just the scale of traffic that they've got is quite substantial.
Zillow is a gorilla-sized company now, and it's almost as if you can't get around them.
In 2025, Zillow's stock has underperformed relative to its peers amid a tough housing market and a regulatory overhaul that's shaking up the broader real estate industry. New legal challenges could knock Zillow further off its course.
The Federal Trade Commission just announced it is suing Zillow and Redfin.
Do you think that Zillow has some kind of monopoly?
Oh, absolutely. We're pursuing them as a monopoly.
Even its competitors rely on Zillow to run their businesses.
We love Zillow because that's where all the buyers are. A third of our business is from Zillow. We feel like our parents are fighting right now, basically.
Here's how Zillow makes money.
There are, I'd say, three core revenue streams at Zillow. The first one is this program called Premier Agent. Think of this as a lead generation model.
Millions of people visit Zillow.com every day. The company has an opportunity to make money after users click the right button on its platform. Here's an important one. Request a tour. When you click it, you're matched with a buyer's agent. A buyer's agent is someone who represents the home purchaser throughout the real estate transaction.
Last year, about 88% of transactions involved home buyer agents, and that's quite unique to other parts of the world. That's the agent that Zillow has oriented its business around.
The majority of consumers hire the first agent that they talk to.
Sina Milan is a realtor based in Washington, D.C. In the past, his firm has spent nearly $100,000 in a single month to generate leads through Zillow.
There was definitely a return on my investment. They were sending me leads and we were making money.
They will bid on a specific zip code to try and win a certain number of leads, and then it's on them to go and convert those leads into successful transactions and customers.
We have hundreds of millions of buyers that come to Zillow every month, and a very small fraction of them actually go and transact. If we can help more of those transactions happen, then we participate in the revenue in that transaction and we make more money.
If the lead turns into a sale, the buyer then negotiates a commission with their agent. These commissions traditionally make up as much as 3% of the home's selling price. Commissions are separate from closing costs or what you spend on the house itself. On the typical home, the buyer's agent's commission works out to about $12,000. Zillow may take as much as 40% of that commission if the lead was generated through their platform. That translates to about $5,000 for a median U.S. home. Today, home prices are out of reach for many potential buyers.
What my economists tell me is that we shouldn't expect it to get dramatically better anytime soon, unfortunately.
As a result, the volume of home sales is relatively low. This affects middlemen in housing, including your real estate agent and Zillow. Rental advertising is Zillow's second major line of business. Zillow's platform hosts advertisements for listings within large apartment complexes.
Our rentals business has been growing fast for quite a while now.
And really the way they monetize this business is predominantly in bigger multifamily buildings or apartment buildings.
But that's actually the minority of the market. So we built our marketplace to really collect as much of the inventory as possible.
In February 2025, Zillow paid one of its competitors, Redfin, $100 million. In exchange, Redfin terminated its advertising business for multifamily buildings with 25 or more units. As a result, listings on Rent.com, ApartmentGuide.com, HotPads, Trulia, and Realtor.com all run ads and listings provided by Zillow. At the time, Redfin's CEO said the partnership will increase their overall profits. In September, the Federal Trade Commission filed an antitrust complaint against Zillow and Redfin over this deal. 5 state attorneys general have filed a similar complaint against the two companies.
Zillow and Redfin already essentially, along with one other company called CoStar, already own about 85% of the market, or at least 85% of the revenues. The deal that was struck that's going to result in almost total consolidation in the rental listing market. And we believe that is going to lead to even higher rents for apartment dwellers, because we think the landlords who are going to be charged extra costs to list on Zillow or Redfin, those apartment owners will then try to pass those costs on to the average renter. It could be a year or two down the road before this ultimately gets decided. This Zillow Redfin case is going to impact people. We want to bring them because this is something that is going to hit people's pocketbooks.
In response to these claims, a Zillow spokesperson said the company is elevating fee transparency and investing in tools to streamline and defragment renting for both renters and housing providers. A spokesperson from Redfin said the company disagrees with the FTC's allegations. They also said that the existing number of Redfin advertising customers couldn't justify the cost of maintaining their rental sales force. Then there's mortgage financing. Here, Zillow faces competition from banks and small originators.
Mortgages is super fragmented. It's very competitive. And Zillow, I would say, is a very small player in the mortgage business. You're starting to see this push towards, I would say, a bundle of a platform. You think about Rocket, they've kind of gone the other way. They have gone from a financing business to now acquiring Redfin, which is a real estate portal in its own right and a brokerage in its own right.
Zillow built its business with innovations like the Zestimate. This algorithm takes in data about a home, then it estimates the price.
It's really 2006 era AI. Today, it's using the latest and greatest AI techniques. We have what we call the neural Zestimate now. It is not an appraisal, it's an estimate.
The feature does have a median error rate of about 2% for active listings and 7.1% for off-market homes. Redfin has a similar tool that has similar error rates. Zillow says it typically updates Zestimates multiple times per week.
It's a great starting point for you to then go talk to an agent about, well, what is your home really worth? What are the specifics about your home that the computer may not know that might have you list differently, or trying to track this type of buyer?
The model may increase seller profits by about 4%, according to researchers at New York University. But there's more going on than price estimates. Zillow's interface includes the number of views, days on the market, and saves. According to its data, Zillow says that 250 views per day means a home will move to pending within a week. Listings that receive 500 daily views typically sell for more than the listing price. 5 saves per day means the home will probably sell in a week, but the data can't tell the whole story about a property.
If I have a view of the trash can in the back alley, my square footage shouldn't be the same as the one that's facing the front and has got a better view, right? But Zillow can't distinguish that right now. Maybe in the future with AI they can, who knows?
Zillow is now available directly within ChatGPT.
You can think of the AI shift as the next shift. We use a lot of generative AI in our listing products. We have something called Sky Tour, where we generate from drone photography the ability to kind of float around and fly around the house. Gives you a really deep sense of what it's like to be there. And now you can virtual stage a room.
Zillow's database contains significant details on about 165 million homes. In the past, much of this information was only available to realtors in the multiple listing services system.
MLS is a database of information. There's around 500 MLSs across the country, established over the past 100 years. There used to be way more. And I think people recognize that 500 is probably still too many.
MLS systems are run by local real estate associations, which are governed by the National Association of Realtors. In 2019, the National Association of Realtors introduced a new policy that asks sellers to put properties onto an MLS within 1 business day of public marketing.
What Clear Cooperation indicates is that if a listing is publicly marketed, there's a sign in the yard, it's been advertised online, and that type of exposure to a segment of the marketplace would dictate that the listing be filed with the MLS.
In April, Zillow announced that it would soon enforce listing standards that mirrored those from the National Association of Realtors. Months later, a competing real estate company, Compass, sued Zillow over this policy.
What Zillow is doing is they're banning any agent and their seller who doesn't list on Zillow in 24 hours. It's like Amazon saying, if you don't give me your listing so I can monetize it and sell it for a 40% referral fee, I'm going to ban you.
You can't selectively market it, as a few companies are trying to, and hold it back and try and advantage yourselves over others. So that's what the industry rules are about.
The new real estate standards could affect Compass in particular. Their business model has realtors follow 3 steps. The important one is step 2, Compass coming soon. Here, an agent can market a property without showing price drops or the number of days on the market.
The consumer is able to see days on the market, which really hurts the seller. When you get on Zillow, you're able to see the price drop history. It's been in the market for, 75 days. Hey, it's time for me to go in there lowball.
These policies could limit how effective it is to buy or sell homes off of the MLS.
And there can be a number of reasons that happens. Maybe the seller wants more privacy in the sale of their home. Maybe they're going through a personal issue, whether that's an illness or a divorce. Or maybe the seller simply wants more control.
Being in DC, a lot of high-profile people don't want their houses in the open market. I get inquiries from people knowing a certain person owns that house, asking me questions, about, trying to get in.
If a consumer doesn't like that broad exposure, they have greater control over how their listing is marketed, and they can work with their listing broker to either keep it off the MLS completely, but if someone knows about it in Seattle, and maybe the potential for them purchasing it is small, but they might still purchase it, and who knows, they might be the person who wants to offer the most money and the most favorable purchasing terms.
In November 2025, Compass and Zillow will meet in court. But the antitrust lawsuits concerning Zillow and Redfin, filed by the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general, could take years to settle.
We know that when these two companies are combined, they are likely to charge landlords more money to advertise their listings, and that those charges to the landlords are then going to get passed on to the average renter.
We'll have to see how these court cases pan out.
As the volume of sales remains low and the industry consolidates, Zillow is focusing on what it can control.
For 20 years, we've just been focused on what does the buyer and the renter and the seller want. That need constantly changes. You should expect to see Zillow continue to innovate with products and services that not just meet today's consumer needs, but try and anticipate where they're going.